Hi there. Some people were asking about how to make the My Maps map for the Toronto Miracle pickups. So I just typed in up on top here, Google My Maps, and then the first one shows up as My Maps. Click on that one. Looks like this. Get started. And then let's do a new map here. So we'll create a new map. I just kind of type in my address. This up a little bit so you can see. Okay, so I'm gonna back up a little bit here. This is my neighborhood where we're picking up. I'm the Wallace Emerson Dovercourt. So the first thing you see up here, there's a few different options. So I did the line option. I know my neighborhood really well because I've done this a few times as I learned. So what you do is you take that little line option up at the top, see the three little dots, and then you're just gonna outline your neighborhood. So mine goes all the way from Bloor and Dundas to Christie, from Christie up to DuPont, I believe, across up to Davenport. You can just kind of follow. There is, they did provide us with what the neighborhoods are. If you do this enough times, you start to know what your neighborhood is. Mine goes down here like this, and then it goes up here like this. So there's my neighborhood map. And then when you get to the bottom, you see that little pointer finger, boop, you're done. So polygon, I just called this the Dovercourt Wallace Emerson Junction. Okay. So then you save it. You can change the color of this as well if you want. So see this little guy here? You can make it green if you want. Okay, so there's our neighborhood map. So then what I did was I kind of tried to just look at what the major streets were. I'll zoom in a little bit. And then I tried to decide based on the major streets what my zones were going to be. With the same sort of concept, I took this little line drawing up here, add a line or shape, and it just kind of went, well, this looks like a good zone, so I'll kind of go around like this. And there's one zone. And then I just changed this to be zone 1. Save. And I made it a different color because I like different colors. Okay, so there's our first one, done. And then you can just go across. I'm not going to do them all here. I'm just going to give you an idea of how to do this. So there's another zone. We can go down this way. I like to kind of keep people on the same neighborhood so they weren't having to crisscross any major streets. Polygon 2, so I'll call this zone zone 2. Save. And you can change the color too. Just click on it. This one will be orange. Great. All right, so I'll do one more just so everybody gets it. So down here, I just kind of went across and then up Lansdowne. And then you just have to make sure that they connect with that little finger or else it won't make a polygon. And you'll know that because it'll just say line zone 3. And we'll make this guy, I don't know, purpley. Okay. You can also change the transparency if you want to see through it or not. So the one thing I had a challenge with is that they don't give you any little numbers. I ended up putting numbers over top. I don't think it's important. You can probably do it with a pen later. But just because I wanted to show people how I did the food drop-off. So let's say we have a food drop-off. I'm going to say, just for kicks, 130 Perth Avenue. So see how it shows up at the top? You hit Perth Avenue. And I get this little green guy. So when you click on that, you can say add to map. And then up at the top, you hit the edit button. And then what I did is I kind of put food donation. And then I hit save. So now I have this blue little dot here. And I found the blue dots were confusing because there's all these little blue dots as well. So what I did is if you click on this little style guy, you can get more icons and then you can choose whatever icon you want. And I like this little one down here because it looked like food storage. So I thought, well, that's kind of what we're doing, isn't it? And then I made it purple because that's the color I chose. And then you have that one there. So there's your food donation. So from your website, you get the captain site and you get your donor list. And if you look over here on your donor list, you can download it as a CSV file. So once you download it as a CSV file, you have something that looks like this. I'm just going to show you this. So I've blacked out the addresses just because I think that's the nice thing to do. So I added another column here called zone, and that's going to help me once I put the address in. So this is where you see your column of addresses. Once you have your address and you type it in on your map, that was over here. So then I found out, let's say if this was my address. So we said that this address was 140 Perth Avenue, and we know it's in zone 1. So then what I would do over here is I'd come back to my, and where it says 130 or 140 Perth or whatever the number was, I would type down zone number 1. And then what you can do is you can filter if it's in data. So you can put a filter on your spreadsheet. I put one on right now, but here I'll show you. So go create a filter, and you get these 2 little arrows on the side. And so then what my plan is once I have all of my addresses typed into the map and it's all kind of pretty and set up, then when I hit this little arrow on the side, it's going to filter from A to Z or 1 to 4. And then all my people who are zone 1, I can just kind of copy that whole line and send it to them. This is the address, these are the notes kind of thing for what that is. So I think that that's going to save me a lot of time because I wasn't sure how to do that in a better system. So again, this is your map. And then if you just come out, you can create your zones however you want to create your zones, and however many zones. And maybe you want to do your zones after you've already mapped where all your food donations are. That might be helpful if you have a limited amount of volunteers. I put a volunteer on here. I also have a volunteer for every zone because we ended up having quite a few people volunteer for a section, which was great. So then I know that this person's going to get all of zone 1. Thanks. I hope that's helpful.